Now that we have the majority of our parts, we are going to kind of get ready to mix. And the first thing I want to do is create individual tracks for my drums so that I have more control over them. So we have 3 drums, kick, snare, and hi-hat. So I need a total of 3 tracks. I'm including this one, so I'm going to make a new track, 2 new tracks. I'm highlighting the drum track so that when I come to track in new and create 2 new stereo instrument tracks, they're put directly under the drums track that we have. I'm going to rename them. So I'm going to double click on the nameplate, drums. I'm going to call this kick. Next one is snare, hit next, hi-hat. When I come over to battery and press play, this will remind me what drums I'm using. Okay, so kick, snare, hi-hat. And I'm going to hit control or right click, control click, output. And I'm going to change the output from master to direct outputs. There are 16 stereo outputs, so you can have 16 drums have their own individual output, which is useful because you want to have control over how loud the snare drum is, not just how loud all the drums are together. So for the kick, we're going to make it stereo 1 and 2. We're going to click on the snare, control click, output 3, 4, and the hi-hat is going to be output 5, 6. So now when I come over to the snare drum and click it, you don't hear it, neither do you hear the hi-hat. You do hear the kick drum though, because direct out 1 and 2 is actually the same as the main out, except we have told it to be specific, just to go out 1 and 2. The other thing is we're about to change the inputs of our tracks, but we're not going to change the input of the kick track because it is hosting battery. It has it inserted, and therefore it is already kind of defaulting to output 1 and 2, or input 1 and 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to come into the I/O column, I/O, input, and output. We're going to click on input, so the no input on the snare track. We're going to go down to plugin, over to battery 3, 4. And for the hi-hat, we're going to go battery 5, 6. So now we have just the snare drum coming out and just the hi-hat. So this gives us the ability to kind of adjust things individually. We can pan things. Panning means moving things in the left to right field. I don't pan my kick, I don't pan my snare. But my hi-hat, I might want a bit off to the left or to the right. That becomes something that you can choose individually. And that's separating your drums.